Melissa Jefferson-Wooden embarked on a historical journey when she entered the Japan National Stadium for the 2025 World Athletics Championships. First, she broke the championship record in the 100m to become the fastest American woman alive. Then she stormed to another victory in the 200-meter dash. But as the fans in the stadium settled again, Jefferson-Wooden burst out on the track to help the American women's relay 4x 100-meter team clinch a gold for the 24-year-old. All it took was an optimistic mindset in order to stand atop the podium in Tokyo. On October 3rd, Jefferson-Wooden joined American singer and actress Jennifer Hudson on her talk show and shared various nooks and crannies of her triumph in Tokyo. Donning her medals proudly in the studio, the 24-year-old looked elated. And when she was asked about her winning mindset, the South Carolina native avidly confessed, "When I get to the line, I always tell myself before or once the starter says on your marks, I'm just like, here we go." But things were a bit different this year, Jefferson-Wooden continued. And this year, what I did was I just told myself like, you've lined up with all these amazing ladies many times before, and the outcome wasn't necessarily what I wanted. Her mindset was the same throughout the season, not just at the World Championships. Every time she stepped onto the track, she was like, if they beat you before, they won't get you again. And that's the mentality she took with her to the finish lines. The 2025 Tokyo World Championships marked the first event that witnessed Jefferson-Wooden running the 200m race. The 24-year-old American revealed that she couldn't really build up the strength that she needed to run the 200m distance at the Paris Olympics. And it was all because of her Achilles rupture during the 2024 Olympic trials. But making the 100m team was a pat on the back for her. She claimed that even though she wasn't in the 200m team, physically, she had enough willpower to go out there and do the things that she wanted to do. Well, Jefferson-Wooden had to stir things up if she wanted to run the 200-meter dash. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden had a meeting with her coaches and told them that she'd like to train for the 200-meter dash a bit more seriously. And that's what she did. It was this mindset that brought her to the top of the podium. Not once, not twice, but in 3 different races. Yet, there was a hint of regret in her voice after the races. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden had one regret despite winning 3 golds in Tokyo. During a conversation with Shannon Sharp back in September 2025, Jefferson-Wooden weighed in on her 100-meter record at the Tokyo World Championships. She clocked 10.661 seconds, the 4th fastest time in women's 100-meter dash. She's only behind Shelley and Fraser Price, Elaine Thompson-Herah, and Florence Griffith Joyner. During the 1988 U.S. Olympic trials, Joyner set the world record for fastest 100m run at 10.49 seconds. And when Sharp touched that spot, the current world champion couldn't help but express her disappointment. She claimed that she could have gone sub 10.6 seconds if she had more favorable conditions, like a plus 1.5 meters per second tailwind. Melissa Jefferson-Wooden stated, "It was the fastest I've ever ran, but I look at the race and I still See areas where I could have improved. On. Like, I probably could have been a tad bit more explosive coming out the blocks. Well, the 24-year-old double sprint champion has already proven her strength at the Tokyo World Championships. However, despite her historic milestones this season, the 24-year-old has bigger aspirations and she wants to extend her dominance with a goal of breaking the late Floris Griffith Joyner's long-standing 100-meter world record. And Jefferson-Wooden is ready to embrace that challenge. When Melissa Jefferson-Wooden crossed the finish line at the World Championships, her time lit up the stadium screen like a burst of lightning. An American record that stunned the crowd, silenced doubters, and redefined what resilience truly looks like. For Jefferson-Wooden, it wasn't just a victory. It was the culmination of years of mental recalibration, heartbreak, and rediscovery. Her journey to that historic moment began long before the starting gun sounded. In the weeks leading up to the championships, Melissa's mindset was different. Gone were the quiet doubts that had haunted her after her early professional struggles. In their place stood a renewed belief forged through discipline and an unshakable vision. This time I wasn't just running to prove people wrong, she shared in a post-race interview. I was running to prove myself right. Behind the calm composure she displayed on camera was a long story of persistence. After emerging as a collegiate star at Coastal Carolina, Jefferson-Wooden faced what many called the post-college wall. Her transition to the pro circuit wasn't seamless. Injuries, inconsistent form, and the overwhelming expectations of being labeled a future U.S. sprint queen weighed heavily. But instead of breaking under pressure, she transformed those struggles into fuel. I stopped trying to force results, she said. I started working on my piece. Her coach, Troy Wooden, now her husband, played a crucial role in that transformation. Together, they built a new approach, rooted in patience and mental resilience. Early morning training sessions were no longer about chasing times, but about refining rhythm and balance. Meditation became as important as sprint drills. We focused on silence, Troy explained. She learned to quiet everything: noise, doubt, comparison, and just listen to her body. That mental shift became evident in her race strategy. At the World Championships, Melissa didn't explode out of the blocks recklessly. Instead, she ran with precision, controlled aggression, perfect transitions, and an unmistakable sense of confidence. As the final meters approached, she surged ahead. Every stride a reflection of the mindset she'd cultivated. When she leaned across the finish line, history followed a new American record. But the record itself, Jefferson-Wooden insists, is only part of the story. The time matters, she said, but what it represents matters more. It's proof that patience pays off, that growth isn't linear, and that sometimes the quiet years are the most powerful. The days following her record-breaking run, tributes poured in from across the world of track and field. Sydney McLaughlin-Levon called her performance a masterpiece in control. Shaw Harry Richardson, a close friend and rival, celebrated her achievement with a heartfelt message. You showed the world what belief looks like. Even global icons like Shelley and Fraser Price praised her focus, calling her a student of the craft and a master in the making. For fans, what stood out most was Jefferson-Wooden's humility. Despite her newfound status as America's fastest woman, she carried herself with quiet pride, acknowledging the collective effort behind her success. I didn't do this alone, she told reporters. Every teammate, every coach, every young girl watching, this record belongs to all of us. Her victory also reignited conversations about the evolution of American sprinting, with legends like Allison Felix and Carmelita Jeter now retired. Many wondered who would carry the torch forward. Jefferson-Wooden's performance answered that question with authority. Her run wasn't just a personal triumph. It was a signal that the next generation of U.S. sprinters is ready to dominate again, blending technical excellence with emotional maturity. Yet, perhaps the most powerful moment came after the race, when Melissa sat on the track, tears welling in her eyes as the stadium roared her name. Cameras caught her whispering something to herself. Later, she revealed what it was. You made it through. Those words, simple yet profound, encapsulated her journey through injury, doubt, and the pressure of expectation to the pinnacle of the sport. Even as endorsements and media appearances flooded in, Melissa stayed grounded. She spent time visiting youth clubs, encouraging young athletes to embrace the mental side of sport as much as the physical. Talent takes you to the line, she told them, but mindset gets you across it. Her next goal, the Olympics, but rather than framing it as a mission for medals, she views it as another opportunity to evolve. Records will fall. Medals will tarnish, she said. But the mindset, that's what lasts. As Jefferson-Wooden prepares for what's next, one thing is clear. Her American record was not just a moment of brilliance, but a declaration of a new era. One where mental strength, authenticity, and faith in one's process define greatness. She has become a symbol of what it means to rise. Not just as an athlete, but as a person who turned adversity into artistry. For the fans who watched that historic race, the memory will endure. The flash of red, white, and blue, the rhythm of her stride, the disbelief that melted into awe. And for Melissa Jefferson-Wooden herself, it was more than a victory. It was the realization of a promise she made to a younger version of herself. To never stop believing that one day her peace would be her power. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.